I'm a big fan of food plots, and I'm a big fan of cover, early successional vegetation right in and around them. And I have started the last few years getting them a lot closer together. This is a food plot. We have killed a pile of deer in this over the years. It's just under 4 acres. So certainly big enough to attract a bunch of deer. Expensive to plant. Food plots are not cheap by any means. As you see at the edge, we have some woods. We have good cover in there, but just a thin band of early successional vegetation at the end. Now, what I like to do is have a wider band of that cover because deer will move through that very freely during shooting hours. There's food in there, there's cover in there, and it really enhances an area from a huntability standpoint. So what I have done this year is, rather than plant this entire food plot, I have taken about 1.5 acres here at the bottom of it that borders this cover, and I'm converting this to early successional vegetation. So I sprayed this to kill the existing vegetation. Now I'm letting the seed bank show me what it has. I did broadcast some clover into this so that we always have a clover base, but I'm not managing this as food. This will be a bunch of broadleaf plants. There will be some grasses come in. I'll spray those out, but this is going to end up being about this tall this hunting season. By next year, it's going to be about this tall. So it's going to provide great cover. Deer feel very safe moving in this in daylight hours. So essentially it brings them out of the thicker cover where I can't see into this to feed. Way more shooting light available. Our stand is on this end, so we have heavy cover, pretty good cover here, but we can still see deer. Transitions right into a food plot. So this is where deer are going to want to be, and because they have this, they will end up in that food plot earlier in the night, and when we're sitting in that stand up there, it's going to give us that many more minutes to be able to make a great shot this hunting season. All right, so you can see what we have height-wise here, and I'm telling you it's going to be taller later this year, but let's go ahead and take a look at another plot nearby that is actually in year 3 of this. So you'll get to see what this will look like here next year and certainly 2 years later from now. So let's go take a look at that one. All right, we talked about the value of adding cover right around your food plots. I showed you year 1 where the cover is about this tall and explained that in the future it's going to get taller. This is the plot I said we're going to go to. You can see where this is. I'm 6 feet tall, so some of this is as tall as I am. This is tremendous because as you go through, it's not solid thick. Deer can weave through here. If you're in an elevated stand, you can see into this, but deer feel completely concealed and will move much more readily during shooting hours. There's food in here, nothing that I planted. It's just all stuff from the seed bank, broadleaf plants that have germinated that they'll take advantage of. So it allows them to move into this and then out into a food plot earlier in the evening. So to give us a chance to get a better look at them with better light. Now, in this particular case, yes, I talk about the value of this, but I will give you a case study or an example of exactly how this can work. Right where I'm standing is where my son Bo last year shot the biggest deer we have ever killed out of our camp. We've had our camp since the 70s. It was the highest scoring buck ever, grossed 150 inches. Now, you say, well, yeah, maybe you're in a good spot. And I will say this, that those aren't a dime a dozen in Pennsylvania for sure, and there's many other states that don't have deer of that caliber. That absolutely would be one of the top deer probably in our county. It's Semena Manueli aged at 6.5 years old, so fully mature buck, and it was standing right here in the wide open 30 minutes before dark in our rifle season. Heavily hunted area, high hunting pressure. Yeah, young bucks may come out like that, but older deer certainly don't make a habit of getting out like that when there's plenty of shooting light left. We have managed this food plot for a number of years, and we've shot a lot of nice deer out of this. However, it wasn't until we incorporated the cover into it that the hunting really got good. If this was a food plot all the way to the end, I will guarantee you that buck was not standing here 30 minutes before dark for us to be able to shoot it. It might have been in this field after dark, but it wasn't coming out then. It's this cover that made it comfortable enough because it actually came out on my neighbors, walked immediately to us, and it walked all the way down this cover to this exact spot because it knew that at any point with one step it's disappeared. It's safe. So if this isn't here and it's in the open, it's not coming until after dark. But with the cover, sure, it come all the way down through here. It's watching, seeing what's going on. The winter rye we had was too irresistible as long as the cover is right here to hide it. So he walks to this point. Bo made a great shot, and the rest is history. That deer's on our wall now. But I will say this, when I talked earlier about incorporating that cover into that other food plot, this is exactly why. This was a good food plot and a good place to hunt without the cover, but adding this cover makes it a great place to hunt. So I'm a big fan of this. It's easy to do. It's inexpensive to do, way less than planting a food. And actually, the money that I save by not planting this allows me to then use that money to plant other plots or do some other work on the farm. So I'd strongly encourage you to incorporate cover where you can, and absolutely put it right up to any of your hunting plots, and you will definitely have more success this fall and years to come.